with the 0.21 patch notes, and they are extensive. No pre-reading has been done. Let's have a quick look through them. So, features. This is actually a feature patch, which is quite rare. 22 new endgame runes, 7 new endgame talismans, 15 new endgame soul cores. So lots of ways we can tweak and customize our characters. Hopefully we see some details on what they are further down. We have significantly increased the number of mythic unique items that can drop. Change unique drop item calculation to no longer consider an item's class, which means we will see more jewels, belts, rings, belts, amulets. Reduce the number of common unique items that drop as rarity on areas increase. The bonus to the number of uniques that you get while playing in a party was significantly higher than... Oh no, we had a plan to go and abuse that. Oh well. So, this should fix the significant advantage that party play had over solo play for wealth acquisition. Apes are no longer strong together. Now, we'll see how that works out. Item modifier tier numbering has been reversed. Great, that's a really... So, 1 is now always the highest. If you see a tier 1, that's the best you can get. Great, that's much easier for people to learn. Adjusted the appearance of all omens. The same number of omens appear, but the higher level ones are going to drop more often. Refund all passives! Oh, awesome. 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 That's really good. Now we can respec with a single button. RSI fixed. Massively increase the chance of corrupting a monster trapped in essence. Oh god, yeah, I think I've seen one. In the whole time we've been playing, I've seen one greater go to a delirium. Huge QOL, exactly, Yoshi. Improve the passive skill search tree on mouse and keyboard. That's good. So you can now type and it will show you things. This thing we've been able to do in Path of Building now for about 10 years, maybe more, maybe 15. The smothered ritual type that spawns Chaos Volatiles has had its spawn frequency is halved and damage lowered, so that's good. That's the shit that appears on the floor. Fix an issue where volatile plants were dealing a little over double their intended damage. How? How do these mistakes go in and just... I don't understand. How does something deal double? Okay, there's obviously someone at time something. Empowered volatile plant mods on rare monsters has had its damage reduced, so they're going to kill us less. Volatile plants and empowering volatile plants now spawn 2 volatiles instead of 3. So they've had their damage halved, and then they're generating a third less spawns. Volatile plants and empowering volatile plants now disappear when the rare monster that spawn them dies. Oh my god, that's so much better. Rat tornadoes from the infested ritual type have had their damage and move speed reduced slightly. Oh, they're the things that just killed us on King of the Mists. Forsaken Miner's death animation no longer leaves a prime grenade on their corpse. Draven, that's a on death effect removed, good. Draven the Eternal Praetor's melee damage has been reduced slightly. His projectile cleave has also been reduced. Improved the visual effect of Chaos Volatiles, good. The Lightning Storm Strongbox modifier now causes fewer lightning bolts, and its lightning bolts have improved visual effects, good. Lower the damage of Unearthed Runecaster from Expedition. Unearthed Runecaster's projectiles now correctly deal both fire and cold damage. Right, so there's some monster balance. We're going to die less to chaos. Great. Endgame. Drastically increased the variety of endgame maps. Previously, some maps like Hidden Grotto spawned way more frequently than others. Now each map type should spawn approximately as frequently as any other. Good. Lessened the restrictions on which monster packs could appear in different Atlas biomes. This will result in a significant increase in the variety of monsters appearing in endgame maps. The few monster pack types that were available in all biomes were appearing significantly more frequently than they should have, making endgame combat much less interesting than it should have been. Does that mean we're going to get Val factory mobs everywhere? Because that would be annoying. The distance that you can see features in the Atlas Fog of War is now based on the distance to the nearest revealed map, making this much more consistent. This means that you no longer have to frequently check an unknown distance in the fog when searching for citadels. This did make citadels slightly harder to find, so we increased the spawn rate of them also. Cities on the Atlas now spawn in loose clusters. Cities? I think that's supposed to be citadels on the Atlas now mostly spawn in loose clusters of 3 with each city type per cluster. Oh, no, the citadels appear in the cities, don't they? And there's a citadel within a city, which makes sense because the citadel is the castle in the centre of a city. I just never noticed that those were supposed to be cities that they were spawning in, but okay, it's not a mistake, it just reads like one. Endgame Wadestone modifiers that applied curse to new areas now instead periodically cast the respective curse on ground targeted areas, the same as a player casted skills. Disabled the of giants map modifier, area of effect modifier. That's the one that made things giant. The of splitting map modifier now only appears in tier 6 plus maps, additional projectile modifier. The of penetration map modifier no longer has tiers and has a value of 10 to 15%, reduced from 15 to 25. That's quite nice, I suppose. Rogue exiles in endgame areas have a much higher chance to spawn with unique items. The ritual modifier that spawned chaos pustules now spawns them at a much lower frequency and have been increased in size slightly, so they are more visible. The Viridian Wildwood unique map now contains more enemies and more rewarding encounters. Added visual indicators to omen altars inside the Viridian Wildwood unique map. These visuals can also be seen behind the darkness. Adjusted the frequency of omen altars inside the Viridian Wildwood to reduce variance and increase the average per map. The Twisted Domain now drops significantly more catalysts on average. Breach rings dropped from the class hands in the Twisted Domain are now always rare. Oh. That's not good. Crafting breach rings is a... You don't want rare ones for that. You want... Okay. Monsters in the Twisted Domain are now more rewarding. Lowered than... Maybe that will balance out the number of breach rings we get. It's going to have to be tested. I see a 50 runs coming up in our near future. Lowered the number of It That Watches monster in the Twisted Domain. I think that's the one that fires the fireballs. Increased rare and magic pack chance in Twisted Domain. The base radius of explosives in logbooks has been increased by 25%. Additional logbook content such as hidden caves are now guaranteed at all levels. The Frigid Bluffs Expedition logbook now spawns unique monsters encased in ice. These monsters can be broken out with explosives. The frequency of special remnants in each Expedition logbook has been more than doubled. The amount of remnants in Expedition logbooks has been slightly increased. Special destructibles in Expedition logbook areas, such as the crates of gold in Barren Atoll, now spawn more frequently. Expedition logbook areas spawn more monsters and a slightly higher proportion of rare monsters. Many chests found in Expedition logbook areas are now guaranteed to drop a rare item. Ezomite remnants in the Barren Atoll Expedition logbook area drop larger amounts of runes. Crates of gold in the Barren Atoll Expedition logbook area now drop significantly more gold. Barren Atoll Expedition logbook areas now have much larger quantity and variety of buried strongboxes, and these strongboxes now have minimap icons. Replace the functionality of Expedition Remnants unique to the Frigid Bluffs Expedition logbook area. Added a new type of Expedition Remnant that can appear in Lush Isle Expedition logbook areas. The minimap icon for Expedition Remnants that are specific to each type of logbook now have their own unique icon. Various points of interest in Expedition logbooks now have their own minimap icon. Inscribed ultimatums that lead to a boss now indicate which boss may be found. The Immured Fury will no longer try to respawn in ritual encounters and prevent the encounter from completing. Alright, that's what that was doing that. Improve the visual effect of Delirium Spite monsters, Lightning Ball skill. So, significant changes to Expeditions, which I think a lot of people were just going in, seeing if the boss was there, then jumping out. So those changes might encourage people to actually run them. Maybe drop a bit more loot. Be interesting to see if they're now up there on the valuable. So now we've got new uniques, there's 9 of them. Let's have a quick look at what they are. So 9 new uniques. Most of these are aimed at providing endgame chase uniques for a variety of builds. Increase the overall power of several existing unique items. Headhunter now steals modifiers for 60 seconds? Ah, I sold my Headhunter. You've still got yours, haven't you, Yoshi? That's quite nice. That's a big change. That's really good. You're going to be able to get up to loads of stacks of Headhunter. It's going to be crazy good. The Hammer of the Faith unique two-handed mace now has 250 to 300% increased physical damage, up from 200 to 250. Existing items can be updated with the Divine Orb. It now also grants random shrine buffs for 20 seconds, previously 10 seconds. That's massive. The Guiding Palm unique scepters have received significant updates. None of the changes affect existing versions, other than the flat damage changes, which can be updated using a Divine Orb. The fire variant of the Guiding Palm is now called Guiding Palm of the Heart. It now grants allies in your presence fire damage, significantly more than it did. It now grants 20 to 30 strength and 25% damage as extra fire damage. Oh. And a permanent guided meteoric shrine buff. cold variant of Guiding Palm now grants 25% extra freeze, and it does the same thing, but that's the freeze side. There's now a Guiding Palm of the Mind, which does lightning, which does your lightning side, gives you 25% extra lightning damage. So these could be some budget Sacred Flames right here. So builds that are currently using Sacred Flames, these could definitely, potentially be some budget versions. That's very cool. The Mjolnir, unique one-handed mace, now has 250 to 350% increased physical damage, previously 150 to 200, and grants 2 to 4 level of lightning skills, previously 1. That's a huge, huge upgrade to that item. That's massive. The lightning spell on melee hit meta skill granted by Mjolnir has been renamed to Thunder God's Wrath. Oh, what a name change. God, it just sounds so visceral, doesn't it? Thunder God's Wrath. It now causes triggered spells to cost no mana and grants them a level-dependent amount of increased damage, up to 200% at skill level 20. That's fucking insane! What? Oh, Dead Rabbit's Mjolnir build is going to get some traction now, isn't it? Because that's probably just kicked it right into the stratosphere. The Spire of Ire, unique spear, now has 167 to 201 to 267 to 303 chaos damage, which is about a 50% increase on what it was, and 10 to 20% physical damage leeched to life, which is about double what that was as well. Usual Divine Orb will sort it. Comb's Heart now has 1500 max life, previously 1000. Existing items can be updated with the Divine Orb. But do you know what I'm not seeing here? I'm not seeing updates to the actual boss uniques. They're all still nerfed to shit. Just head on, like... Prism Guardian now grants 1 spirit per 25 maximum life, previously 1 per 50. Existing items can be updated with the Divine Orb. That might be quite good, actually. Defiance of Destiny now grants 10 to 20% of missing life recovered before being hit, previously always 10%. Yoke of Suffering now causes enemies to take 10, 15 to 20% increased damage for each type of elemental ailment on them, previously 5 to 10%, but now also reduces the duration by 30 to 40%, previously 20 to 30. Bringer of Rain now has 100% increased critical hit chance in addition to the other modifiers. This change does not affect existing items. So I think what is very interesting there is there's no change to any of the boss drops. So there's no reason to be going to do the bosses. Beyond maybe Breach at the moment, because maybe the increased catalyst drops, but the increased catalyst drops too little too late really for them to make much of a difference. No one needs that shit anymore. Oh, Jody, yeah, that is going to suck. SSF having to fix your items. Alright, so into the missile. I'm not actually... I'm going to say this right now. I was really hyped by what might change for the uniques, and there's 1 or 2 things in there that stand out, but that does not feel like the level of changes to the level of items that need to encourage people to do the end game. It's just going to encourage people to run around in maps. It's like they don't want people to do the other end game stuff. It is actually like that. Anyway, miscellaneous changes. Defeating Rocky Balboa in normal difficulty, Traitor's Passage, will drop a quest version of the barrier, and if you do not currently have the quest item, or if you haven't already gotten your ascendancy points from using the barrier, okay. Optimize the physics of monsters, so hopefully they will fly off into the air and we'll have some great physics interactions. Incremental audio added for the monk class. Incremental audio improvements for various monster abilities, player skills. Search filters within the uncut support and skill gem UI are now cleared when exiting the menu. The affliction in Trial of Sechamus that caused you to have no energy shield now applies 50% less. That's good. Increase the trigger radius of classed hands inside breach encounters. That's good. Firestorm can now consume ignites from corpses in front of you, in addition to living enemies. That might make Firestorm work a bit better. Quests are clear, I mean. Quest rewards can now be quick moved on the gamepad. Updated accept trade to R1 on the gamepad. Shrines are now more reliably interacted with when using the gamepad. Added a new gem tag, barrageable, to indicate skills that can be made to repeat. Added support for a new type of microtransaction. Ooh. But have you added any of these character skins? Am I allowed to spend my hard-earned money on them? This is the real question. Improve the audio of the unique item Wake of Destruction. Improve Lackland the Ender's Lament's AI when fought in a party. Improve Rattlecage the Earthbreaker's AI when fought in a party. Change the classification of some chests so their labels are always shown. Added an option in the game tab to always prioritize interacting over using skills. This option is by default. Added a pop-up text for options, exit, and patch note buttons on the gamepad. Purchasing an equipable micro traction from the in-game store now displays an option to equip it. The socketable stash tab has been updated with spaces for the newly added socketables in the new patch. Now, of course, just to hark back up to the uniques, it doesn't cover off the 9 uniques that have been added, okay? We've seen 3 of them, so there's 6 things there that are for us to go and discover. So, you know, who knows what they might be and what they might drop from. Probably random mobs and random drops. And then the usual slew of bug fixes. Crash is fixed. Delwyn's been fixed, but he should just be removed. Fixed a bug where Blink couldn't be used to dismount the rower mount. Fixed an issue where hungering stalker monsters would fail to engage the player. Is there anything interesting here? Fixed a bug sunrise invisible. The Hex Blast curse indicator. No, I mean, just your usual slew of bugs. Is there anything here about? Just something about spectres. Fixed a bug where spectres could get stuck in their wisp form. That's been going wrong for a while. Fix an interaction that caused charge infusion to grant the wrong amount of stats and weapon swapping. That might explain why I saw the 32% increased crit or whatever it was earlier. But yeah, usual slew of bug fixes. Main changes, of course, being the changes to the uniques. A couple of these are very, very nice, but I think, again, was personally hoping to see changes to the actual boss uniques and those rewards that you get from doing the pinnacle content, and they're just not there, which is a bit of a shame. But ultimately, definitely one of the patches of all time. And I hope you've enjoyed this take on it, which will be going up as a video. I'll catch you in the next video.